There's no way to sugarcoat it. Autocracy is on the march, and we now have a government in the United States that has thrown in its lot with the autocrats, which has made a choice to support those who wage war, not peace.
Wow. That's Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton in Germany, of all places. Is she wearing her Nazi armband? That fascist pig. That's Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. And wait, autocracy in the war. But you guys are the party of war. You're trying to keep the war going in Ukraine. President Trump is fighting hard to end the war in Ukraine. And Hillary, who's she with, the Nazi party in Munich? Is she at that stadium? What a grotesque person she is. And if she's in Germany, I guess she woke up face down in a pool of her own dried vomit in Germany today. Because it is hump day, you know. Was Bill with her in Deutschland? Bill's there? Wow. Baron von Munchausen, I'm telling you. She is really something. I am telling you, that's silly. And going to Germany to talk about rising autocracy in the United States, when her fascist Joe Biden and her fascist, she was Secretary of State at a time when Barack Obama, who got the Nobel Peace Prize, bombed more countries, a total of 8 countries, attacked 8 countries. That's one a year for those trying to keep track at home, you Democrats, math-challenged people that you are, hence the $36 trillion national debt. But she was Secretary of State, our chief diplomat, when Mr. Nobel Prize recipient Barack Hussein Obama attacked 8 countries using the military. And by the way, Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton, your Democrat President Jefferson Davis of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War, you guys attacked Fort Sumter because you wanted to keep your slaves and your bullwhips, not just in the Robert Mapplethorpe fashion, which you still do, as I understand. And you got us into, with your progressive liberal Democrat, Woodrow Wilson, got us into World War I, the world to end all wars. And that was that war to end all war thing that lasted how long? Well, about 20 years. And then your progressive Democrat, FDR, got us into World War II and rounded up all the Japanese Americans and put them in concentration camps, you fascist. And then, of course, Harry Truman got us into the Korean War, and then John F. Kennedy and LBJ got us into the Vietnam War, and Richard Nixon got us out of the Vietnam War. I think he was a Republican, and Ronald Wilson Reagan, the risen Yahweh and the greatest president, and he got us out of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. We won, but then it turns out the Democrat Party became the Soviet Union. Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. And what did she call? She said we're becoming an authoritarian country, and what is it? And she's in Germany, of all places. No sense of irony, these people, as I like to say. And Hillary calling Americans terrible people, and we in Germany, she's telling them, we're becoming the bad guy.
Autocracy is on the march, and we now have a government in the United States that has thrown in its lot with the autocrats, which has made a choice to support those who wage war, not peace.
Wow. What a fascist. What a little, more of an Eva Braun than an Adolf Hitler, I think. And she wearing men's clothes there? I think she's wearing men's clothes. Has she had a sex change? Has she gone over? Has she done the gender switch? Because she is strange. Her suit looked kind of weird, didn't it?
What difference at this point does it make?
Sure, Americans being massacred by Al-Qaeda in Libya and Benghazi, and what difference at this point does it make? She doesn't care about human life or Americans. These people, and don't forget about the Russian playbook, because, you know, the Russian playbook, as the Democrat from the Obama State Department famously said under oath on Capitol Hill, Victoria Nuland, the Russian playbook is what the Democrats use every day.
It is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
Yeah, as Hillary Clinton accuses, everybody that is pro-American. You know how it's like that line from The President's Analyst, right, with William Daniels talking about his neighbor's calling his neighbors fascists. And why did he call them fascists, Michael?
The Bullocks next door, real right-wingers. American flag up every day. Real fascists. Ought to be gassed. You know the type.
You know the type. See, that American flag up every day, real fascists ought to be gassed. That's your Democrat thing. President's Analyst. It's a movie that only I remember, I think. Pretty funny stuff. Speaking of the fascist Democrat, the violent criminal, every knocked is crystal knocked. They're attacking the Jews on campuses all over America, especially at Ivy League schools. And then they crank out these lawyers that become Democrat judges that corrupt the entire country and the judicial system and all that good stuff. But they are really something. These people now, we were just talking about Elon Musk saving the day with his own space program and SpaceX and going up and rescuing 2 American astronauts that Joe Biden left stranded for 9 months when they were supposed to go up into space for 8 days. And Joe Biden, according to Elon Musk, who offered during the Biden administration to go rescue the 2 stranded American astronauts, which Democrats tell us weren't stranded. They were just there for 9 months instead of 8 days, but they weren't stranded. Now, if you're locked in a restaurant for 9 months when you went in to have dinner, I think you might be stranded there. You might be a hostage. But Elon Musk explained that he offered to go rescue these astronauts, and Joe Biden, the Biden administration, for political reasons, denied the offer, declined the offer. No, let's not rescue these Americans because he's Joe Biden. You know,
we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons. And that's just a fact.
And that's just a fact. Elon Musk yesterday, after rescuing the 2 Americans from space that Joe Biden left stranded for 9 months because he's a criminal. And, other than that, pretty amazing stuff. Elon Musk and his own space program, and he rescued them. And he offered to rescue them months ago. And Joe Biden didn't want, because Elon Musk was spending time and appearing with Donald Trump, who was running for president. The Democrats wanted to make sure that Donald Trump didn't look good by association and didn't want Elon Musk to look good because they were vilifying him and turning him into an enemy. And now Hillary Clinton has the Hitler. She's doing the goose-stepping armband. What kind of underwear do you think she's got? I think she's got Nazi underwear. I don't know what Nazi underwear is, but I think she's wearing it. Yeah, but, well, brown. They got the brown shirts. And so but let's move on to number 11. Is that my number 11? Elon Musk last night appeared on the Sean Hannity program on the Fox News channel, and he's talking about what he's been experiencing. Now, he was beloved by the Democrats, who all wanted to buy an electric vehicle, and they wanted to buy a Tesla, and they probably with taxpayer money most of the time, because they run nonprofits and get really rich doing it. And Elon Musk was on last night, and he's like, hey, what's going on with you, the Democrats? I noticed you had to increase your personal security, your private security, and talking about all the death threats you've been getting and the violent attacks on Tesla dealerships and Tesla vehicles and Tesla drivers, because the left, communist, pig, dog, fascist, Nazi, German, Hillary Clinton followers, and they're all voters of Hillary Clinton, of course. Elon Musk last night on Hannity describing what's going on in his world. I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. And they used to love him. They wanted to date him. They wanted everything Elon Musk. And then he decided he was for free speech. And he bought one of their propaganda arms from Jack Dorsey, Twitter, and made it a free speech platform and didn't ban everyone that the left hates, which is everyone that tells the truth and everyone that makes sense, everyone that has 2 brain cells to rub together. And the Democrat Party, representing the left, which are communist pig dogs like Vladimir Putin, And the Democrats, Joe Biden was in bed with communist China, and they took how much money did the Biden family take from Moscow and from Russia? It was millions, right? Not just hundreds of thousands like the Clintons, millions from Russia for the Biden family. And our media is so filthy corrupt that they hide all of that and attack anyone that tells the truth and try to cancel the truth tellers, you know. Elon Musk, they're firebombing, they're shooting with guns, dealerships and cars, they're bullets and Molotov cocktails. And he's like, we're a peaceful company. I've never done anything to harm anyone. I just do productive things. Well, the left is here, and they're the Democrat Party, and Hillary Clinton is Ava Braun on LSD, which makes her maybe less fun than the original Ava Braun. Hard to say for sure. Man, and I thought he sounded a little like me in this one. I've been talking for quite some time now about the Democrat Party being a mental illness, an identifiable mental illness, just membership in the Democrat Party, being a registered Democrat, a Democrat voter, these are clear signs of mental illness. And Michael Savage used to say that liberalism is a mental illness, and he was ahead of his time, no doubt about it. Elon Musk last night.
So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's some kind of mental illness thing, because this doesn't make any sense. And again, 5 Republicans in Minnesota attempting to, by legislation, define Trump derangement syndrome as an actual identifiable mental illness. And I certainly hope that gets through. Elon Musk.
I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, nobody's ever seen anything like this. Well, that's not since Kristallnacht, and again, they're attacking the Jews on campuses, the students, and they're dressing like terrorists from the Middle East. The entire Democrat Party is dressed like Hamas today, and they're violently attacking people for being Jews. Every Nacht is Kristallnacht. I saw that somebody else using that on the internet the other day. With Democrats, every Nacht is Kristallnacht, and that's true. Elon Musk said it turns out they really like their crooked money.
Yeah, it turns out when you take away people's, what the money they're receiving fraudulently, they get very upset, and they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud.
Stopping their fraud. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and now his life is in danger. I think that's a pretty good indication that they're stealing a lot of stuff, isn't it? And what is it? They used to love Teslas just a couple of months ago, and now they're firebombing like the fascist, Nazi, anti-Semite rabble that they are. And all this is fine with the New York Times and CNN.
And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And, well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people will do bad things.
Yeah, they're bad people. Bad people do bad things. And Hillary, the fascist, over there in her Nazi underwear in Germany, saying we in the United States, because we're fighting for free speech and constitutional rule and not politicizing the Justice Department and the FBI and the judiciary, which the Democrats have done, absolutely done. The Democrats terrorizing Jewish people, terrorizing college campuses, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, anti-American, pro-Tren de Aragua, pro-MS-13, pro-Mexican drug cartel, Sinaloa cartel, anti-police. The Democrat Party is a mental illness, and they're a violent criminal organization, too. Just, observing what's going on around us and saying it out loud. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier is finally here, and the third generation builds on the 2 previous generations. The incredible success of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet, became a bestseller in no time, and the new Thunderstorm uses 2 technologies that studies have proven help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air, like Wuhan. Removes dust and pet stuff and smoke and all kinds of stuff from the air that you breathe, and helps get rid of any odor. Also, you don't have to buy filters to replace again and again. The thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell guaranteed. I mean, litter boxes, smelly shoes, a teenager's room, left-wing protesters, no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. And this week only, buy one thunderstorm, get one free. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number for free. So you can put one in your bedroom and upstairs, downstairs, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. Make one a gift. Bring one to the office. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo, ChrisBogo. Buy one, get one. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ChrisBogo. Yes, sir. Yes. So Elon Musk is a truth teller and a spaceman, and he's got his own space program. He's on our side. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at WashingtonTimes.com/Chris. The Democrat Party, they're not the Democratic Party. Remember, the Democratic Party isn't, just like friendly fire isn't and common sense isn't. Well, the Democrat Party is violent, and Hillary Clinton, what a disgrace. What, going to Germany to trash the United States. Fascism ends at the water's edge, Hillary, remember? Let's go to the phones, Mike. Let's go to Eric, calling from Woodbine, Maryland. Eric, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
I was going to say about the Tesla, the whole Tesla thing. These people, they're going to start going after just regular Tesla employees, and they just don't care. They're a bunch of, I don't know. They've got to be hired. There's no way that this is a normal thing, even with Democrats.
They got to be high or hired?
Hired.
Okay.
Working.
They could be high, too. They might be on microdosing.
Yeah, they're probably high, too. Yeah. Anyhow, and I wanted to clear up what I said the last time about Volodymyr Zelensky using the media against Donald Trump. I think I conflated what he said. It was right around the 43-minute mark of that whole thing in the Oval Office, where he said that you will feel the influence because Donald Trump was saying you don't have the cards, you're not going to tell us what we feel. And he said, Zelensky said that you will feel the influence, and I think that I conflated that with the media.
Well, he was born and raised in the Soviet Union himself, Zelensky was, and after generations of Soviet domination in Ukraine. Yeah, he's not the hero of the revolution either. Yeah, I love this. President Trump yesterday releasing new JFK assassination records, as he promised he would do, because government transparency, a word they use a lot around here, but they don't know what it means. A lot of time they use the words, but they don't know what they mean because they're Democrats, and the brain damage thing is a predominant feature when it comes to Democrats. But the CNN people, very angry. Trump administration releases new JFK assassination records, and I think they're against it. They got a picture of John F. Kennedy driving into Dealey Plaza. There's his loving bride, Jackie, who became Jackie O, holding onto her hat there. Hey, hold on to your hat, because there's a communist about to blast your husband's brains out, all over your nice pink suit. The Trump administration on Tuesday released thousands of records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy that it said had previously been classified. Many of the files related to the JFK assassination have already been disclosed. Yeah, including a tranche of 13,000 documents released during the Biden administration. At the very end of the Biden administration, they dropped this bomb because President Trump said he was going to release all the documents. So as they left the astronauts stranded in space, even though Elon Musk had offered to go and rescue them, Joe Biden said, no, leave them there. Screw them. They like Trump, so we're going to leave them stranded in space. And then President Trump said, yeah, we're going to release all the JFK documents. So at the last minute, CNN doesn't tell the truth about this. They lie. Say the 13,000 documents released during the Biden administration. Is that, first of all, is that 80,000 documents? Because that's how many the Trump administration made public yesterday. And did the Biden administration do it unredacted as the Trump administration is doing? That is not blacked out with their black magic markers, which the Soviets like to do, like Hillary, Diane, Rod, Ham, Clinton. Many of the documents released Tuesday had been previously redacted, however, as I just said. Trump said on Monday that people have been waiting for decades to see the 80,000 pages of records related to Kennedy's assassination. Soon after taking office, he signed an executive order directing the public release of thousands of files related to the assassination of Kennedy, of Robert F. Kennedy, and of Martin Luther King Jr. Now, as I like to point out today, the Democrat Party is, because John F. Kennedy was the only Democrat president assassinated. We had 3 other presidents assassinated. They were all Republicans, all assassinated by Democrats. The one Democrat assassinated, John F. Kennedy, was shot and killed by a communist, Lee Harvey Oswald, who married a woman from the Soviet Union, Marina, who is still alive and well and living in the United States, by the way, as are their 2 children, but not their fault. And Marina Oswald, the Soviet wife of Lee Harvey Oswald, she remarried. She's got another last name now, as you might think. She's from the remote and obscure Russian, then Soviet city of Severodvinsk in northern Russia on the White Sea. And I've actually been to Severodvinsk, a closed city, a walled city, and submarine base there. That's all I'm going to tell you about that. And then Robert F. Kennedy, who was assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan, who's alive and well and living in a prison in California, and Martin Luther King Jr. Now, I like to say, because it's true, that today's Democrats are closer on the political spectrum, politically speaking, to Lee Harvey Oswald than they are to John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy would be a Republican today by any definition. Robert F. Kennedy would likely, in all probability, be a Republican today, too. The Democrats are closer on the political spectrum to Sirhan Sirhan than they are to Robert F. Kennedy, who was very anti-communist and pro-American. But the Democrats are not what they used to be. Again, the Democrats closer on the political spectrum today to Lee Harvey Oswald than they are to John F. Kennedy. Closer on the political spectrum to Sirhan Sirhan, just look at Columbia University, than they are to Robert F. Kennedy. And Martin Luther King was assassinated by a Democrat presidential campaign volunteer, the George Wallace presidential campaign, because the Democrat Party is the party of racism and segregation and slavery and the Confederate States of America and Jim Crow laws. And that's why the Martin Luther King assassin was working for a Democrat presidential candidate. That's your Democrat Party. In a nutshell, how did they get into that nutshell? The documents were posted on a website of the National Archives on Tuesday evening. May take some time before researchers who have studied the JFK assassination can go through the more than 2,000 newly posted documents, which were identified only by record numbers and no descriptions. Well, you'd spend another 40 years putting descriptions on them, then CNN would be happy. But there is no indication the files will contain any bombshells. Well, why don't you go through them before you come to judgment? According to one man who's seen many of the records already, Now, this is kind of a big deal. And then we've got this nitwit, because there are a lot of inbreeding, I think, in the Kennedy family. And John F. Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg. Schlossberg is not as good a name as Jack Kennedy. Jack Schlossberg, Jack Kennedy. I'd take Jack Kennedy if I had to choose. But Jack Schlossberg, who is John F. Kennedy's grandson, the son of Caroline, sweet Caroline, Caroline Kennedy. She was cute about 60 years ago. And John F. Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, rips CNN anchors for covering the assassination files release in foul-mouthed rant. It's a rant that is foul-mouthed. So beeping stupid is the bleeped. It's the New York Post story. John F. Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, tore into CNN for covering the trove of 80,000 documents surrounding the 35th Commander-in-Chief's 1963 assassination that were released by the Trump administration on Tuesday. The breathless and sweaty Schlossberg, who's 32 years old and doesn't really look like his uncle, John F. Kennedy Jr., the son of the my best girl. I thought she had something of a crush on John F. Kennedy Jr., but this guy, not so much. He was seen freaking out over CNN's reporting, which was playing on a TV behind him. He made a video of himself like his own personal Zapruder film. In a video he shared on X, which is owned by Elon Musk, who he hates because Democrats hate everybody. Except maybe, Lee Harvey Oswald and Sirhan. So shared on X just hours after the Trump administration followed through on its promise of government transparency by giving the public the highly anticipated JFK files. And here is Jack Schlossberg. Looks like a genetic mistake of some kind. And he posted a video of himself. He's angry, but he loves CNN. And listen to this. He didn't know the documents were coming out. I knew the documents were coming out. And he is the grandson of John F. Kennedy. He didn't know. And the explanation for that is he gets his news from CNN, so he doesn't know anything.
You're better than this. This is so f***ing stupid.
No, they're not.
There's so much actual news going on.
There is?
Why are you covering this? At least report that something happened. I love you, Harry Anton. You're really smart.
I love you, Harry
Why are you guys covering this? I love you, Aaron Burnett. You're really smart. Why are you covering this? Why are you covering this? Stop. This is why this takes hold, because you guys cover it over and over and over again.
What? He's cursing up a storm using the F word and the S word, and then we bleep them for you because this is polite company here. But he's not, obviously, we can tell just from a video that he posted of himself, not the brightest guy in the world. And wait, he loves Harry Enton?
I love you, Harry Anton. You're really smart.
I love you, Harry Enton. He does their polls at CNN. They told us Hillary was going to beat Donald Trump and that Joe Biden was going to be president and reelected for a second term, and then that Kamala Harris was going to beat Donald Trump. And I love you, Harry Enton. Sure. I love you, Alice B. Toklas. And so does Gertrude Stein. And so he loves Harry Enton. That is a clear sign of a mental illness, and he's cursing them out for covering the story. And he's dressed like the Unabomber. I don't know if you've seen this, but he's wearing a gray hoodie, and he hasn't shaved in days. He looks like a drug addict that lives under a bridge. I love you, Harry Enton. You're really smart. I love you, Aaron Burnett. And then there's another funny element to all of this, and that is that he didn't know that the documents were going to be released. It took him by surprise. Hey, wait a minute. You guys are releasing Now, President Trump ran on it, but he gets his news from Harry Enton and Aaron Burnett. So he doesn't know what's going on in the news. He has no idea what's going on in the news because he's just a Democrat. He's a member of the Kennedy family. And which one? They hate RFK Jr. That's the one they hate because, he's anti-vaccine. Oh, no, he's not. He said 1,000 times he's not anti-vaccine. And they keep saying he's got 6 kids. They're all vaccinated. He's in favor of polio vaccine. He's in favor of all these vaccines. And then he said that he had no idea that this was that the documents were coming out, and that's because he relies on CNN to get his news. So if you follow the news, don't watch CNN. And I know as a veteran, it's my alma mater. Sadly, tragically, it was a news organization for a little while. And then he took to his X account, which he hasn't been banned from because Elon Musk believes in free speech. I think he might have gone out and set fire to a dealership after he posted this video. What the JFK files say about me is not true, Schlossberg wrote on X, adding, I'm straight. I'm straight. So apparently people in the JFK files are saying that the grandson that nobody pays any attention to is gay, and he's homophobic. This is clearly some demonstration of homophobia here. Wah, wah, wah. And then he wrote, no, the Trump administration did not give anyone in President Kennedy's family a heads up about the release, he wrote. A total surprise and not a shocker. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. definitely knew. He's a mental dwarf. It's obvious that he's a mental dwarf. So you're saying you didn't know about this when everybody knew about this. But again, if you think that CNN is a good source for news, then there's a lot that you don't know, a lot going on that you don't know anything about. Just saying.
I love you, Harry Anton. You're really smart. Why are you guys covering this? I love you, Aaron Burnett. You're really smart. Why are you covering this?
Well, because we've been waiting for the release of these documents. A lot of people have for decades. And the conclusion that what they're saying is that it doesn't show any, that the mafia or Donald Trump or who else is supposed to have shot him? Who was the second gunman on the grassy knoll and everybody's son and everybody's father? Ted Cruz's father, and then like Woody Harrelson's father or something. And apparently none of that's in there. But the Democrats dealing with a lot of mental illness issues. All right, we've got more to get to, and right now I want to go to a telephone call. Let's go to Steve, calling from the great state, the beautiful state of Montana. Stephen, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Well, good morning, Chris. Great to talk to you again. And I just thought I'd chime in on this Trump derangement syndrome matter. I don't think it's right to call it an illness because then it'll have to be covered by insurance, and it'll be pretty much just a big, another big payout. Maybe it's a big pharma scam. They want to have to create some kind of new pharmaceuticals for it. It's just another big money-making operation. I'd leave it alone. It's just some crazy syndrome, and just lock them up and put them on a barge and float them out to sea. But don't call it an illness, please. Don't.
Barge. Put about. I like the imagery. That's good stuff on a barge out to sea. Yeah, and for those who don't know, I talked about it yesterday and talked about it on my TV show on Newsmax as well. But the headline from the Hill: Minnesota lawmaker behind Trump derangement syndrome bill. Listen to this. They're attacking everybody now. Accused of soliciting teen because a Republican wants to pass a bill making fun of Democrats. So what happens? The Democrats find a woman to come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh yeah, he solicited me. I'm a teen," but it'll all be anonymous, of course. Minnesota State Senator Justin Eichhorn was arrested for soliciting a teen on Monday, authorities said, hours after he introduced a bill. Just hours he introduces a bill. And then the Democrats, waging lawfare, introduced a bill proposing Trump derangement syndrome as a form of mental illness. The Bloomington, Minnesota Police Department detectives had communicated with Eichhorn, who was under the assumption he was talking to a 17-year-old female, police said. So they set him up. GDB set him up. He arrived Monday to meet the teen in person, but was instead met by local police officers. So wait a minute. He introduces this bill declaring that Trump derangement syndrome is a mental illness. And within hours, the local police set him up, got him on the phone, convinced him he was talking to someone who was allegedly underage, and he goes somewhere, and they arrest him. The Democrat Party. There they are. And that's a Washington newspaper, The Hill, reporting on it. Just hours before, the headline was, Trump derangement syndrome to be declared mental illness in U.S. That's the Economic Times international outlet. And then within hours, the police set up one of the Republicans and snag him because, you solicited an underage girl. That's how you know he's a Republican, because the Democrats are soliciting underage boys. That's and goats, of course. Got to keep your eye on the goats. Bum. All right, let's go to the telephones. I've got a lot more. I've got President Trump coming up, and I might have some Elon Musk. Hillary Clinton, she ought to be gassed, just while she's in Germany. They do that sort of thing there. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Brian calling from Potomac, Maryland. Brian, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Christopher, thank you so much for taking my call.
You betcha.
Just wanted to ask what I think is a fairly obvious question, which is if old Jack, whatever his name is correct, and there's nothing new and there's nothing new under the sun, and all these tens of thousands of records produce nothing earth-shattering or noticeable, then what in the hell have they done keeping it under lock and key for the last 62 years? Where's the transparency? What is this, the Soviet Russia?
Well, what do you think the answer to your question is?
Well, I suspect that the CIA, if they did in fact have something to do with it, wouldn't leave a little note, a Post-it note saying, "Yeah, we did it." I just suspect whatever is possibly incriminating against any government insiders is long since been destroyed. I think this is just a smokescreen and a cover-up for the fact that there was some type of inside action. And that's just my little conspiracy theory, but it just makes no sense why not there.
Yeah, why? Look, you raised it. I saw it on the screen, and Jasmine put it up there. Say, I think that Brian's got a really valid question. If there's nothing to see in these 80,000 pages of documents, then why were they under lock and key for more than half a century? That's kind of curious.